Hi, everyone. Father Scott Vanderveer here with the next in our series on living a life filled with purpose. There are some things that you can say to God that you could never say to a human being. We must never, ever say to another human being, use me however you want. That is a very bad idea. Humans are not equipped to use other humans. It'll always end badly. But to say the exact same thing to God is one of the most beautiful prayers we could ever say. God, use me. I am your creature. Use me however you want. That is the prayer that is at the very heart of a life of service. That's what it means to have a servant's heart, to say to God, use me however you want. Mother Teresa once said that we should go through our lives with our hands open. And that way, if God wants to give us something, we're in the perfect position to take it. And if God wants to take something from us, we're completely undefended. We're in the perfect position to give it. Going through life with hands open. What that means is we are going to be given opportunities to serve others every day of our lives. It's just that those opportunities are not always very glamorous. They don't always come packaged as a ministry. They're not always the kind of things that you could put on a resume or feel especially proud of, but they are so incredibly important for the good of the world. In 2012, part of my road to the priesthood involved being ordained a deacon for a year. That's a typical thing that we do in the Catholic Church. We are ordained transitional deacons, and then a year later, we're ordained priests. Well, the life of a deacon, as you may know, is all about service. Deacons were created by the early church in order to allow priests to focus on prayer and on leading people in worship, and that there would still be people who could serve the community, who could make sure that no one was neglected, who could make sure that the sick were cared for and that the hungry were fed. So the role of a deacon is a very humble, serving role. Well, that day that I was ordained a deacon, I was not feeling very humble because there were people there to congratulate me, because people were standing in line to give me presents and cards filled with money. My younger brother, Jeff, just 16 months my junior, was there with me. Jeff is not a particularly religious person. We were raised by the same parents, but religion didn't take the form of going to church for him. But he is a very good person and has a servant's heart. So my brother, who's not really a churchgoer at all, was standing next to me at the cathedral as I was greeting people, and at the parish in Albany where I had my first Mass as a deacon. When people would give me a card, he would quietly take it and put it in a secure place. When I was thirsty, he would bring me a drink. He was always showing up with things to help, ways to serve. It was all humble behind the scenes stuff. He didn't get to play any impressive role. Nobody applauded him or gave him credit. And my friend, Monet, who has known me for a long time and has always known about my brother but didn't know him well, said, you know, now that I've heard the bishop's homily about what a deacon's life is all about, she said, you looked very churchy and very good on that day, very holy. But your brother was the true deacon. Your brother was the one serving. You were the one being congratulated and being brought beverages and being given gifts, while your brother was collecting things for someone else, was bringing the water, was making everyone feel comfortable, was keeping everything going quietly behind the scenes. Recently, we moved offices here at St. Mary's, and that meant just about everybody got a new office. Our music director moved from downstairs to upstairs. Our receptionist moved from a tiny office to a bigger office with the copy machine. I moved from the bigger office to the second back office. All of us were moving to a place that does work much better than the way it was before. But that meant that there were all of these really horrible tasks that we had to do. Pulling out cupboards and things that hadn't been moved in years with, forget dust bunnies. It was like a dust jungle back there. One of the things that was very hard for me was that I didn't want to move into my new desk until it could be cleaned out sufficiently. I didn't want my desk to be filled with my things until the drawers had been washed with Murphy's oil soap. And the desk that I had inherited was kind of a well-worn desk. I guess that's a nice way to say it. It was kind of shabby. So the music director asked if she could help me in any way. And I said, I looked around at the boxes, I looked at the papers that needed to be piled, and I thought, I think I need to do all this. So thank you for offering, but no. And she said, all right, well, you know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to clean your desk so you can start to move things into it. And I said, oh, Sue, that would be so nice. Are you sure? Do you really have time for that? Please don't. And she said, no, I'll do it. Well, I had no idea what she was going to do. She was getting the Old English to get all of the scratches out. She Murphy's oil soaped the entire thing and then polished everything. I saw her with a razor blade going through the grooves, getting all of the gunk from the past 50 years out of the grooves. She would then rinse it again, polish it, and then go further. It was like the best dental cleaning that desk ever had. It was like she was a dental hygienist just going to town. And in the end, I said, I can't thank you enough. She said, no thanks needed. I'm happy to help. A lot of us think that in order to serve, we have to have special training. We have to be able to lead a ministry. We need to have something that is a legacy that we can pass on to someone else. But Mother Teresa, to quote her again, said that one of the biggest problems she had in the convent was when all of the nuns started getting master's degrees. She said they learned wonderful things and they were able to do remarkable work, but suddenly they started needing corner offices. They wanted nameplates on their door. They started to get fussy about the kind of desk that they were sitting in. She said, service sometimes is best done in the moment without any special training at all. Maybe one way we could look at it is that we are called to be like a bonfire. Each one of us can be like a bonfire that creates enough heat and light that many people can gather around. And that heat and that light is shared equally with anyone who comes near, and it is withheld from no one. Wouldn't that be wonderful? To be a living bonfire whose warmth and brightness is shared equally and is withheld from no one? It's important that we do that. It's important that we find our way to make a difference. One priest friend of mine has a plaque in his office that he uses as his touchstone. It says, I may not ever pass this way again. So any good that I want to do, I must do it now. I may never pass this way again. I may never meet this person again. Or if I do, they may not be in this specific level of need. Any good that I want to do, I have to do now. Anything that I want to accomplish in order to make a difference, I need to do it now. Everyone must serve. It's part of our spiritual health. Not serving prevents us from having our full spiritual vitality. It is part and parcel of being fully spiritually alive. It's not possible to be our full, true, authentic selves if we do not serve. Serving is part of the deal. That's why I love when in the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, serving is referred to as household chores for all of us that are in God's household. They're just the chores that we all must do. Just as every kid in the family does chores, and the mom and the dad do more chores than anybody else. It's what we must do. Our household chores. And in any family, the only ones who don't do the chores are the very old and the babies. If someone is too old or too young to do any chores, they are the ones cared for. But everybody else has chores. So none of us is excused from serving. All of us is called, each one, to serve. Each one of us to be like a bonfire whose brightness and warmth is shared with everyone and is withheld from no one. May God bless all of us with hearts humble and willing to serve in whatever way is needed, with whatever is right in front of us. May God bless you all.